Hello, hello, people. Yes, I know I sound like death, but that's because I'm sick. So, what's up? Man, what's up, Flip? What's up?
Oh man, not much. You do sound rough, but being sick is part of the joy, isn't it?
Oh yes, quite. I don't have the koofy floof, but there's normal sickness, the regular kind of sickness before COVID and all that. Just the mucus in the chest and in the sinuses and all that, and puking a little bit, but nothing too bad. Nothing too bad. I'll survive. I
Yep.
shall survive.
You're the only person that I can officially say I did not give it to because we're separated by 2,000 miles.
Yeah, at least. Perfect.
Could not have given it to you.
Nope, not quite.
Yeah.
Angus will be joining us shortly whenever he's ready. He's getting his computer all set up and everything. We unfortunately watched Kenobi. We were a little confused on its timing because it was like, what? Because I don't know, they released like 3 hours later than it did last week, right?
Yeah. Instead of midnight, it was 3 a.m.
It's very annoying with this kind of a thing they're doing. It's like, let's release the first 2 episodes on a day that it's not supposed to air, and then on the next week it'll be at the normal time, but it's not at the normal time. It's 3 hours sooner, and then now it was 3 hours later, and it's like, that's not really good to have the inconsistency like that, to
Yeah.
place it on such a bizarre way. Oh, here we are.
Angus is here.
Does your computer work?
Yes.
No.
You can't hear me?
No, I hear you. I was fucking with you this time.
You got me.
Yes. Yeah, so we just got started anyway, so perfect time. And what's up, Angus?
Oh, just really annoyed with my old computer, and I probably need a new mic because the power connection is always flaky. So it's just one thing after another, as you know.
Pretty much the perfect luck.
Oh, dude, throw a link to Vase if you can, if he's available, because that's his favorite guy is Obi-Wan, so we got to hear his take too.
Okay, sure. So I take it you watched the episode, huh, Angus? No, we just watched it a second ago. Literally just watched it a few minutes ago.
Yeah, literally give me 5 seconds. I gotta grab a can of snuff, and we'll continue.
Sure.
How do I sound? It's hard to tell with these earphones.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Loud and clear.
All right, cool. Now I'm in an awkward spot in like my living room, so I'm like leaning into the mic. I'll be right back.
I gotcha. The one good thing about this episode was how short it was. It was like half an hour long.
That's true.
Nothing too bad.
What's that a picture of on Angus's? Looks like somebody getting shot with a laser bolt.
It's either chick getting shot with a laser bolt or she's firing a laser from her chest. I can't tell.
Here, take my heart.
Yep. Vase is at work, so nope. That's all good though.
What are you gonna do? Forget about it, Next time.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, so Kenobi, we're already like, more than 50% done with the show now.
Right.
Thankfully.
It was sudden. Seems like we were just talking about it coming out a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And now here it is, halfway done.
Yeah.
And not done very well,
to say the least. Yeah. Wow, this episode just... So, like, it looks nice as far as visuals.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's about my only compliment for it, really.
They did really well monetarily. They sank some money into the look of it, which is great. That's a good start. And I think the way this falls for pretty much anything Disney Star Wars does is it comes down to looking really beautiful, but they don't hire directors or writers that understand the material or are fans of the material.
Yeah.
And honestly, this could have been a really good show. It just falls short in that department. Did you hear, and I'm just saying this until Angus gets back, but did you hear that the director didn't even know that freaking Anakin was Darth Bangus? He didn't know he was Darth Bangus. Didn't know he was Vader, man.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, that he was like, of course Obi-Wan doesn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just pathetic. Like oh, we hired the greatest guy. He's gonna do great. We hired this woman, Deborah Chow. It's gonna be great. Her direction has been The writing was But let's get started on talking about it now that we're all here.
Well, I mean, since you brought it up, I mean, it is annoying that it's like, you know, you would get the answers if they watched the films, but they're like, well, I don't know. He doesn't know he's Vader, of course, or that he's alive. It's like, no, he literally saw him as Vader before he even had the suit and knew that his name was Vader. And so if Vader was around at all and very heavily feared, he would know. That's obvious. It's kind of his job to know as well, considering he's supposed to look after Luke. It's kind of really important that he knows.
Like he leaves his cave. He leaves his cave. He goes down to get a copy of the Tatooine Times. You know, Darth
I don't even
Vader.
get why he's in a cave. Wasn't he in a house in A New Hope?
Oh yeah, it's true. He built
He had like an actual house.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of weird as well.
I guess he moves. Maybe that'll be an episode where he's to help him move.
Sorry if I sound like death. I am becoming Darth Vader. With me, because I got to be ready to mute when I do that. Sorry. So starting the episode, Obi-Wan's asleep because he almost got his ass killed last time, I guess, with fighting Vader, which to me already makes it really dumb with the line, you know, and they're trying to make it like, you know, oh, you know, when Vader's talking to Ben in A New Hope, the last time we met, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. It makes it was one thing if they did fight and Obi-Wan was still like dominating in some kind of way, but after getting his ass kicked by Vader, it kind of makes no sense for Vader to be like, last time we met, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. It's like, no, last time Vader, you kicked his ass. So I don't know. It kind of has no meaning at that point.
And then let him go like so easily. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to go 10 feet away. Fuck. There's fire in front of me. I don't like fire. Just like I don't like sand. That would have been funnier if like she dumped a bunch of sand in front of him. Like that would have been funny.
Yeah. Wow. Vase is right though. The intention of the show was to make a baby Leia show. It acted like it was about Kenobi, but it's not. It's really about giving Leia more screen time, importance, etc., than Luke.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's unfortunate too. But we kind of knew going into this what Disney's already been doing with all of their characters, you know, raising up the female characters no matter what age they are, and pushing down on the male characters. But all things considered, Leia is a pretty cool actress, and I do like her scenes. I do wish that they focused more on Luke, though. Don't understand why he would ever leave Luke. Like that's his one job. Bail Organa's one job is to stay with Leia, and he has a whole planet, a whole army. Hell, nobody on the Earth has a whole planet's worth of army to go look for somebody, but this guy, he does.
Well, from what I could tell, he doesn't have like his own army, but he does have like a security force. But he could hire an army. Like he has the money to accumulate an army for sure.
Definitely got the money.
Yeah,
he has generational wealth, which is why he needed to
his
die.
privilege. His white privilege. Wait, he's not white though. But still.
But he's rich, so he might as well be.
Yeah, like because I think of like Crassus from, you know, Spartacus and, you know, Roman times. It's like he himself doesn't have an army, but he can just pay for one immediately and have like 10,000 fucking troops. So
yeah.
Anyway,
easily.
So Obi-Wan wakes up. He's like, fuck, and then he's like dumped into a bacta tank. And then it's like a correlation between Vader is also in a bacta tank, and all I can think of is they're probably going, look at how much they have in common. I don't know. He's having flashbacks to their fight, and he's freaking out. And then he's like, oh no, fuck.
Were they connected while they were in the bacta tanks together? Like, were they talking in the Force or something?
No, but with them, I don't know, because they made that happen with like Rey and Kylo, so I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Well, I guess they showed they were both in the back of the tank having their own like conniption fits or whatever. And it's so bad. When I saw Vader or Anakin or whatever in the back of the tank, I saw the bald cap seam where they put the cap on him to make him bald looking. It's right across the forehead. I was like, God dang, you'd think they'd cover that up a little bit better or smudge it with some CGI. But if you watch it again, which I've unfortunately done at least this section 3 times, you can see the bald cap.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically. I feel like they flashed it around quite a bit. It's like, I noticed it, but yeah, it makes sense that they do something like that. But
Well, as much as I'm gonna complain about this episode, I do want to say it's the best of them all, at least for me.
Yeah, or probably the least worst.
The least worst.
Yeah, that's how I was saying. It's like, number 2 was the one where we went to Coruscant. That was all right. That's at least the worst for me.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I don't know. So he's in the back to tank. Angus, do you have any comment on the back to tank stuff?
No.
Yeah, he gets pulled out, and then I guess he's fine. And then he goes and talks to Rebels real quick, and he's like, "You don't know
things there."
No, what I skip?
Well, when he's in the back to tank, he wakes up and he pops up, and the lady is like standing right beside him, and she's like, "No, don't jump out. Your body and your burns, they need time to heal." And he's like, "Oh, cool, right. Where's Leia?" Which makes sense, you know. But how they had that one job in the previous episode, it's easy to forget that the kid is sent off so that the other 2 could fight the Empire. Like, the whole thing was to guard the child and get her home. I think nobody remembers that. So yeah, it took, like, for us a whole week for him to pop up and go, "Where's Leia?" But for him, I guess it took like 12 hours or something. To me, that was a pretty big important part. Like, that should have been his first, you know, words out of his mouth. So that worked. And then you were saying that he goes and talks to the rebels.
Yep. And yeah, no, he's basically just like, "We gotta go find Leia," and they're like, "No, we don't." And then he's like, "Yeah, we do. You know, Empire's pretty bad, huh?" It's like, "Yeah, I know." He's like, "Okay, I guess I'll help you." That's pretty much the scene, huh?
It was bad because, okay, O'Shea should have been like O'Shea Jackson. He was like the Han Solo type character, but he's also had responsibility at this makeshift rebel base, and he was given. I watched this little bit of dialogue very intently because I knew where they wanted to go with it, and I wanted to see how they pulled out of it. So for me, the dive is they're like, "Hey, look, here's Kenobi." He's like, "Oh, get him out of here." So okay, right off the bat, he's defensive. He doesn't want him here. How are they going to turn this around? And so Kenobi's like, "Yo, you know, she's a little girl. I won't turn my back on her. You have no idea what the Empire's capable of." And then O'Shea Jackson is going to tell us his story about how he is so understanding what the Empire's capable of. He says, "Well, I had a wife and we hid the truth and they found her anyway. So I'm really aware of what the Empire can do." And then he says, "But yeah, I'll help you." Like,
in my head, I was like, wait, what part were you convinced to help him?
Exactly. Where was it?
Angus? Nope. He's
audio
fixing his computer stuff, I guess. Yep.
Yeah.
That's all good. Yeah, I don't know. During these scenes, I was kind of just almost out of it because it's just like nothing was happening. I was like, huh? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They says, ha ha ha, yes, he changes his mind for no reason. Yeah, I was just like, wait, did we skip a scene where there's like a reason given or like motivation that's bigger now or something now? No, he's just going to do it now? That's weird.
Yeah.
It makes sense in a way that he wants to be as far away from Kenobi as possible. He's fucking Jedi. He's people are looking for him, bounty on his head. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. I get that. I really do. But you know, it led to no reason. Then we get pushed into their little meeting with the group that's going to run this savior ship or whatever saving Leia mission. And it's the woman who is also an Imperial spy or vice versa. You've got you've got Obi-Wan, you've got O'Shea Jackson, and then you've got these other two characters that they don't, in my opinion, they don't really introduce them well. But the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, random rebel people. Okay, they're trying to fill up the scene with people before they show us whatever they're going to do. So I let that go. But apparently, that's where they introduce the kid or the guy that dies at the end, Wade. So if you watch it again, like that's the part, because like if you get to the end of the show the first time you watch it and everyone's super sad about the death of Wade, the first time I saw it I was like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, actually I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's the next scene, and right there is where you get introduced to that character. I think it would have been, and he did have a line of dialogue where he says, so the Fortress Inquisitorius, and that's the only thing he really says that I can remember. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm an Imperial spy. We're wasting time. Get my ship fueled and ready. And she darts off the screen.
Oh, yeah. Don't they say, as they're looking at it, they're like, look, it's a water moon. And there's a whole, it's just like one building there. But there's no shields because nobody would be dumb enough to attack it.
Right. Yes.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. It's like, Angus, are you back? Nope. But no, he's probably gonna have to call me on the phone to do that again. We'll see.
Yeah, he'll come right back.
Most likely. Most likely.
It was working so well too.
Yep. But so they're like, so oh yeah, nobody would attack this place. That's why they have no shields.
Right. Like, and I get you. You know, I get you. At this point, the Empire is so powerful. Who would dare, to attack like a place where all the wizards are? So I guess I get that.
They were scared to death about one small weakness on the Death Star that they thought was almost impossible to breach anyway. But that was still a big deal to close that up.
Yeah, yeah. And in Rogue One they did, which surprised me. The one Disney show that I say that I like parts of The Mandalorian, most of The Mandalorian. But anyway, yeah, they were worried about that with the Death Star. But yeah, so from here I'm not quite sure what happens right here. She leaves the room, and then
I think you cut out, Flip.
No? Oh, I cut out?
Oh. Couldn't tell
if you're still talking because it just stopped.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so they go from there, they're on the ship, and Kenobi is sitting there trying to practice the Force. And I have to say, like, the first thing you see is this little like square floating or being dragged across like a table or whatever. And I thought, there's probably some extra under there rubbing a magnet.
Probably.
It was just that bad, like, come on. But
are you there, Angus?
Yeah.
Okay, I would have liked to have seen him standing there, floating something like, or sitting there crossed, Indian style with his legs crossed, and
whoa, Native American style.
Native American style. Comanche or Apache, one of those ways.
Yeah, it's like they're doing the thing. See, now I feel like they are kind of Jake Skywalkering him, where it's like, oh, he's like not very good with the Force anymore. He's not as good as he used to be. And it's like, why not? He's supposed to protect Luke and train him. Why would he just slack the fuck off so much where he can barely use the Force anymore?
Yeah.
That seemed kind of weird.
Well,
I was fine with the idea of like, oh, if you don't use it, you kind of lose it and you got to like retrain yourself. Like, okay.
Well, yeah, but why would he stop using it?
Ever. Like, why?
Especially when he's supposed to protect Luke and also train him. At some point, why would he just lose it if it fades like that?
Well, not gonna acknowledge that. First, I'm just gonna say with the almost impotent use of the Force with like that Hot Wheel or whatever. It's like, okay, but then like he force holds all the pressure of water on this glass,
Yeah.
right after.
like
That's the problem.
like a huge leap. And that's what I'm saying is weird too, because it's so inconsistent. I'm like, are you like struggling with the Force now, or are you back? Like, I don't get this. Like,
Well, hold on. The reason he could do that, let's not forget that he's doing this with the little Hot Wheel thing. The woman gets up out of her chair, in the pilot seat, and she walks over and she says, "You care about Leia or something?" And he's like, he nods yes, and she goes, "Well, you better figure it out." So that was all he needed to go from barely being able to scrape a little Hot Wheel across the thing to holding back the water and using the lightsaber. That's not enough for me.
I didn't even connect those scenes at all, really. It's just like, I don't know, he just wasn't able to do it there, and then he was able to do it there, I guess.
Yeah, no, I connected them, and it's like that's like a huge leap. That's I don't have a problem with the idea of like, oh, if you're not using it, you lose it, and you gotta like kind of restart. Okay, I thought he was gonna go in, like a gimp, just a last ditch effort. Didn't think the Force would be like a reliance for him, because of that scene. So then,
But you think he'd be more skilled in other areas than the Force?
yeah, I thought he would have to compensate or get by the skin of his teeth.
See, I'd be okay with that, but they don't do that. He's also lame in those regards too. So it's like, I don't know.
He kills a stormtrooper and then doesn't put on the suit, which would be like,
I thought that too.
perfect.
Like, why? That would have been great.
Well, or just some, I don't know, and like if they could have gotten him in an Imperial outfit prior, since he knows an Imperial spy chick, like you'd think they have disguises sometimes.
Well, I guess he'd have to wear one of hers.
But I mean, I'm saying I think they'd have disguises in general for smuggling people around, or
Good
like
point.
they're rebels.
True.
They'd have ways to do that, or stormtrooper fucking armor themselves. They're easy to kill, so fucking you get one easily.
True.
They killed some on that planet they're hiding on. Is that easy?
It was pretty cool that he swam down and came up through the porthole, and I liked the little bit they did with the stormtrooper hearing him. That
Angus and I were saying, like, he usually
wear the stormtrooper up.
We were like, when he's underwater, he usually seems to utilize the environment around him, but in here he's just like, no, I'm just gonna, like he doesn't tag along with an animal or have it guide him or some shit, hitch a ride real quick.
Oh, that would
also
make it
here's
easier.
another big plot hole. All right, so this is about functionality. So how like they broke the glass and all the water breaks through, and they have all the other glasses break for no reason, even though you got the weak point for it to flood. But regardless, like, oh, there's a hole, water seeps through because the physics of water are the same as Earth so far, what we're seeing. But he gets through a porthole and the fucking building underwater is not flooding. It's just like a
That's
pool.
normal. That's normal. That's how they do it in submarines that need to have divers go out of them, or they'll put them into a torpedo tube. But when water when there's an internal pressure like that, you can just take a cup of water or an empty glass and put it in a tub the same way, push down. The pressure will keep that water from going up into the cup. That's normal. Yeah, that's true. Check it out.
I guess so, but if that's the case, the water shouldn't have come through the glass.
No, the glass, it would still come through the glass because of the downward pressure of the water and the pressure inside escaping upward and outward. It's the same as if you take the same cup of water then on top, or the empty cup, and put it in the tub, like I said, and then turn it sideways, then it will start to fill it with water. But if you constantly have it in an upward and downward,
No, I get what you're saying. I think it's an inconsistency. I get the pressing the cup down, but it's like this is a building, and you opened a hole.
I mean, I can see the confusion, but I can only say that the physics do work properly, at least for what I've seen with water. I know, right?
That's a little far ahead from where we are. Right here.
We're just talking. I'm killing a stormtrooper. That was beforehand.
There was a movie called Deep Blue, or gosh, it had LL Cool J, Sam Jackson. I think that's it. Yeah, and they also had that same setup on the bottom of the ocean where the divers would come up through the bottom of the outpost, I guess, and they had these pools, and that's how they got rid of, I think, either Sam or no, Sam Jackson's character dies in that room because the shark comes flying out of that little pool. But it's way underwater. Just something to look at, if for a reference. That was a pretty cool death, though. I'm gonna have to watch that. Anyway, where are we?
So he gets in the base and kills the stormtrooper, I guess, puts him in a full Nelson or something, and kills him, or sleeper, whatever. And then continues on in his typical, fashion, I guess, going down hallways and avoiding a droid, and the spy chick goes and is on the main, I don't know, command center of it or something, and the dude's like, "Oh, this isn't your sector. Get the fuck out." And she's like, "Well, what are you? I outrank you, so don't you know what classified means?" And he's like, "Oh no, okay, I guess you can go in," and just kind of lets her in. And I don't know. I guess I'm kind of annoyed at how easily they're able to get in half the time with these things. It's like, I don't know, like, are any of the Imperial people fucking smart? Like, I guess not. Oh, I guess not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. And that was a little annoying to me. It seems like, I don't know, maybe she should have just been able to walk straight through. She would have been smart enough to have the right credentials. And they just wanted to have this scene to show that she was a good tactician of some sort.
I guess that's the thing. They keep on showing all these scenes, like all these scenes that we don't need to see, really. It's like we don't need to see her obtaining her way into the deck. Like, that just seemed like a waste of time.
Exactly.
We're talking about things that we should show in this 6-episode series. Like, they really spend a lot of time on things we don't need to see. And then she's able to, what did she do? Open doors or something? Tell them where to go, because I don't know what. Actually, I don't know what her point was.
She opened the portal that we were just talking about the water.
Okay. And then, there's nothing really happens there. She just is able to do that stuff, and then goes to the room and can do that. And then, I don't know if before this we get the scenes with Reva or after or whatever, but Reva's talking to Leia. Leia's got little handcuffs on, which I thought was funny. It's like, because in the first episode they have her in they have like a kid-sized chair when they capture her. That was funny as well. And then they have like little handcuffs. I'm like, this is like, she's 10 years old. Like,
how cute.
What? the threat she poses, Oh my god. That's just funny to me.
Again, like, as much as I like the little actress, as much as I love her writing in scenes and all of it that has to do with her, she doesn't belong in this at all.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I have no idea why Reva captured her. Like, it makes no sense to me, because it's like you had her arranged to be taken from Alderaan so you can draw out Obi-Wan specifically. That was her purpose. And then at the end of the last episode, she was like, "Oh, I'm also going to capture you now because I think you know a lot about rebel safe houses or something." Like, what?
Yeah.
Is that what she was talking? Is that what she was interrogating her for? Because I was just so lost in her reasoning for believing that this 10-year-old that she brought into this whole thing would know anything.
That's where I am with it. We know that they chose Leia because it's the agenda of Lucasfilm to raise the women up and make them look better than the male characters. But at the same time, like, she just doesn't belong in the show. You and I were talking about this before we went live here, that Bail Organa is the leader of an entire planet.
There's a lot of influence in the Galactic Empire, basically.
Yeah. There was no need to contact, Obi-Wan. What I think would have made more sense is if he was like, "Oh my God, they've got her." But since they don't know it's actually the Empire who's got her, they're going to be like, "Oh, hey, Empire, help us find our daughter. We don't know." And then the Empire's like, "Well, we have no idea." And they make a small effort that's like, obviously, don't tell them we have her. But
I thought it would have been interesting if, like, they hired Boba Fett to go find her, and then like Organa tells Obi-Wan to say she's gone, but it's okay. We got a bounty hunter on it, Boba Fett. He's like, "Who?"
Hell yeah.
If that happens, oof, I don't know. I think he might be able to make connections to Anakin. Who knows?
Well, it would have made a little more sense up to that point anyway. But
I'd like to get Obi-Wan involved. But regardless, so Angus, like, I don't know. You watch this more than once as well. Like, does any of Reva's decisions make any sense to you here? Because I just don't think so.
No.
Thanks.
very quick to the point.
Yeah, she's like interrogating her and going like, "You must tell me because, fuck it. I don't know. You just should because you're a little girl, I guess, and you're on the planet in that safe house that Obi-Wan took you to because you guys were running away because he saved you because I had him lure you out here. Just made no sense." And then
while she was interviewing, or whatever you want to call what she was doing with Leia, she's like, I know that I was a young girl too once, and they took everything from me too. And I'm like, well, I first of all, that's not the exact word for word what she said, but the gist of what she was saying there, right when the little droid of Leia's tries to attack or whatever it does, flies into her hand. Apparently that's where she's putting in the tracker, which you would find out later. And then I'm thinking, what is it they're trying to tell us? Because in each of these episodes, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm trying to figure out who is Reva, why is Reva? And was she the little black girl in the very beginning of the very first episode at the Jedi Temple who said, they were like, what do we do? And she goes, run.
I think so. I don't know why else they would have shown that scene. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that also doesn't make any sense to me why she puts a tracker in the little droid, because again, it's implying that there's a lot more importance to Leia that she believes, and then she was going to torture the kid and like not expecting the child to be able to escape, but then luckily they do escape and then they can track them.
Yeah, well, in what guaranteed universe did her taking Leia mean that it would draw Obi-Wan Kenobi out? Like that
I just feel like they were trying to copy A New Hope. That's all I thought they were trying to do, is just copy A New Hope, because Obi-Wan saves, well, he sort of helps save them and whatever, and then they escape and they also get tracked. It's just like, I don't know.
It goes to what you're saying. How in the hell would she know that there's a connection between Leia and Kenobi in any, like, nobody knew that except for Bail and his wife, right?
Well, and that's the thing. If like Obi-Wan did actually get drawn to find Leia after she made the connection between Organa, wouldn't that just mean Organa and his family are fucked?
Pretty much.
That obviously means you reached out to him and you didn't reach out to anybody else.
That's exactly what that would mean. And that's what I'm saying. Like when the director was like, "Oh yeah, we had to figure out who Anakin was, make sure that Kenobi knew he was Vader. We didn't know that." Like, you freaking idiot! How do you get put in charge of something this important and not already know that? Like
they should at least watch episode 3 and 4, like at the very minimum. Like, at the very minimum.
Minimum. Like, even just the last episode 4. Like, dude.
Well, I mean, like A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith. They should have at least watched those.
Oh, I see.
Like,
yes, I meant
at least watch those before making the show at minimum.
Yeah,
like to have any type of continuity. But the Angus, like, did her putting the tracker in the droid make any sense to you? Like, as to why? Like, again, reasoning, like.
No, because she just strapped her in to be tortured and you assume maybe kill her. So it didn't seem like that was her. I don't know.
Well, it's like she had no reason to expect this little girl would be able to escape, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like she had no idea that there was a rebel spy chick, really. And then Obi-Wan would be drawn here as well.
Yeah, she didn't know till after she already strapped her up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she's like, "Oh, I already put a tracker in there." And he's like, "Oh, perhaps you are useful." It's like, no, she's a stupid bitch. And they keep on writing all these scenes that don't make any sense to me. Honestly, so what happens next after that? So she's interrogating her in the table. This is before she gets brought to the chair.
Well, the girl,
Obi-Wan's walking around, and
the woman intervenes. Obi-Wan Kenobi says, "Hey, I need a distraction." She's like, "What do you want me to do?" And he's like, "I don't know, but do it quickly." And so she sends another female, because I thought it was the same female.
I couldn't tell the difference either.
Yeah,
I was like, "Who's this?"
like,
oh, no, I guess somebody different.
She sends this other female Imperial to get Reva, and she's like, she said it was important, so she takes her out. Then Reva finds out that this woman who was on Mapusa, the name,
that's the name of the planet.
Yeah, it was. She was playing on Mapusa, and so she was, who is our buddy, or is our Kenobi's buddy. She's like, yeah, I was down there as a spy, and I learned all these great things. And I got thinking, well, if Reva or the Inquisitors are the ones in charge of finding Kenobi or whatever, wouldn't they already know what spies they have on whatever planet at all? Like, so she started to see through it, which made sense enough for me, because I'm thinking Reva would be like, who are you and why don't I know about you at all? And I guess they covered it good enough for me to go, well, I guess, but that's where we are.
Yeah, I guess. And I mean, Angus and I were like, well, this is like right when she was about to activate the machine on Leia. Just go, just activate the machine and, just walk away. Like, whatever. You don't need to watch. Like,
yeah.
Could have just killed Leia right there. But, the way they set things up are always really dumb anyway. And,
yeah, so you're saying that you guys were like, well, she was going to push the button, but since she got interrupted, she was like, I'll come back to you later.
Right. I'll come back and watch you get tortured later, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, she could have hit the button.
Yeah. And, oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot too. So I think before this, Obi-Wan stumbles upon a Jedi tomb, I guess.
Right.
And he's like, it's not a fortress, it's a tomb, which makes even less sense to me about anything. It's like, so this place that nobody would want to attack is just a tomb for Jedi to be put in honeycomb things to look at, I guess.
I was wondering that same thing.
And they have a youngling in there. Like, why would anybody care about that? It's not even like a trophy of like worth. It's like,
it made me think of Predator, but they kept instead of yanking their skulls out, they just kept them intact, but it wasn't carbonite. Like, how do you do that without carbonite? Like that's the way I would have done.
Well, yeah, when it's like none of the Jedi there seemed familiar. Like, I guess some of them are probably in the shows, but like, again, this is supposed to be prequel connections. You think they'd have like somebody else that's somewhat recognizable in there, but and I actually don't understand why they even have this at all. Like, if Vader's like, yeah, I like to just look at them. Like, I don't know, Angus, does this make any sense to you, or is this like I could just be? I just don't see why this whole fortress seems to be just to house a tomb of Jedi, I guess. Does this make any sense to you, Angus?
Yeah, it's trophies.
A youngling is a trophy. I don't see that as a.
I mean, wow.
It's underwhelming. The only alien was like a crappy looking alien. We probably saw like 2 seconds in Clone Wars. And yeah, like, I don't know. It'd be cool if they had like Kit Fisto or I don't know, just
some
anything.
Type of recognizable Jedi would be something.
Someone you're like, hey, I know that. Not like, oh, this is like you barely saw him in.
What if they had like Yaddle there, and you're like, oh, Yoda. Oh, wait, who? No, oh, it's that thing. Okay, or somebody else that was in the rooms that you could go, oh yeah, fucking Mace Windu confirms he's dead.
Yeah, confirmed.
I did love the joke in. If anything, it should show you how weak Reva is. She's doing her mind rape thing on Leia, trying to. The Leia's like, "Is this a staring contest?"
Oh, that was good. Yeah, that was good.
that was a funny joke, but honestly, I'm just like, so Reva must know that she has the Force and is like, oh, you're a Force sensitive kid. That's weird. This random kid that I picked from a connection to try to throw out Obi-Wan is able to resist my thing at 10 years old, and I don't know.
She could have either been, and the way I blew that off is she's either strong in the Force or she has a strong mind.
Yeah, I
And
took it as like
but to me, it's just she's still 10 years old, though. It's just that's my thing. I don't care how strong it is. It's just because Poe was like, freaking the fuck out when that was happening to him.
Oh yeah,
and it's
good
like
point.
she's just like, is it a daring contest?
I could see it.
I don't know. That annoys me.
I could see where it would crawl on your skin. It could have gone that way for me too easily. It was just it hit right for me. But yeah, I get it.
Or it's like, if you're like, wow, I have a headache. I don't like that. What? Like if she's unknowingly somehow doing that, but it like still feels pain of like she's trying to enter her fucking head. Like, oh yeah, that's not good. And it's like, God damn, why can't I get in? That's weird. But even then, I still think that's still dumb to me. I don't know. Like, maybe you don't have this Force rate power if it's like, because again, why is this the situation? Like, if you can just do that to somebody, then like with this continuity in between, then it's all fucked.
Well, especially when a 10-year-old who they don't know has the Force can, usurp your incredibly talented Force power.
Exactly. But it's just also like, I don't know. I don't think they should have a position where Leia is in this position at all, because this is too close. It's too close to like fudging things up with continuity. So it's just like, as much as everything else already is fudged up, this is like even more like, come on, really? Like, this is all everything's fucked now. What are you talking about?
I want to address the CJH. He says, to be honest, Anakin was strong in the Force at 10 years old. Yes, but he was also the chosen one with the highest midichlorian count ever.
Well, I mean, I would say even if he's strong in the Force at 10, based on their, like, I would assume that, like, their little Force enter the head thing that they introduced with Kylo and stuff would still be something they could enter his head with, like, even if he's strong with it. Like, the way they present it with him is that, like, he has like extra senses, like he can sort of like evade things before it happens or fix a problem pretty quickly. But I feel like if it's a direct Force confrontation of some kind, then he wouldn't be able to do anything at that age. Like, he wouldn't be able to outforce somebody else that is stronger in the Force. As far as like,
I guess I could.
They have their abilities honed. He does not. So
yeah, I guess I could agree with that, because no matter how strong you are, like if you don't ride a bike, and you're like, you've got really strong legs, but you don't ride a bike, and someone suddenly puts you on a bike going downhill, you're gonna fall off. You're just gonna fall off.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the next thing is, I think it's stupid how, like, I don't understand the level. I guess Ariva's power level is unclear to me as well, and I don't know. My point is, they shouldn't be having Luke or Leia in a position like this in an in-betweeny prequel thing. It just seems really dumb to me.
100%
in general.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, neither really should be involved in the show. If anybody, Luke, but not even him.
But I feel like not him at all, because nothing's supposed to happen with him. He's supposed to be just a regular farm boy where nothing interesting has happened really until he's able to leave with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I think maybe that's where they were with it. They were like, well, we can't do anything with Luke. Can we do anything with Leia? And they were like, well, let's talk to Pablo Hidalgo. He knows everything. And that dude was like, yeah, I think you could based on it, but you got to really cover. If I were him, I'm starting to be like, if I were him, but if I were him, that's where I'd say you got to cover this plot hole, because she's never seen Ben before. Or she says, years ago, you served my father in the Clone Wars. Like, dude, is there like a moment at the end of this where Leia gets her mind wiped or gets amnesia? Because that would fit then, I don't know.
Yep. CJ's got a good point here. Second time he could have sensed Leia, maybe.
Who could have sensed Leia?
Vader.
Oh yeah, you would think so, right?
Well, that confuses me now too, because I was, they give the impression that they can sort of sense each other sometimes, kind of figure out where each other are a little bit with the Force, but then sometimes they can't. I'm kind of confused on, is that an active thing where they can suppress their presence or enhance their presence? Like, I don't get that.
The only way I've ever heard it work that way, guys, is that the dark side can cloud your vision. But I've never heard of the light side or children being able to mask their presence from someone like Darth Vader. So,
right. Angus, you got any commentary there? Did we lose Angus again?
no. My
He's
heart
been trying
goes
to
out
speak.
to you.
He's been trying to speak this whole time, and there's just been nothing yet.
That's why. Man, I'm sorry.
Angus, if you're talking, we ain't hearing anything. The struggles of the computer.
Right now, he's throwing things across the room.
Hear me?
Yeah, okay, now I can hear you.
Yeah.
You can.
I can now, yes.
All right. No. I have no.
Hold on.
additional-
CJ.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, man. Bangus?
Yeah. What?
Okay. CJH says she does know the name Ben Kenobi, and I think I know what you're talking about. When Luke pops in and he's like, "I'm with Ben Kenobi. I'm here to rescue you." She's like, "Ben Kenobi? Well, sure. That's who she was." Hologram. She's like, "Years ago, you served my father." She knows the name.
Yeah.
I don't think she knows him.
Yeah, the way she speaks about Ben or Obi-Wan was that she did not know him, but her father had known him. Like, that's the way they speak of it. It's not like, oh yeah, I used to pal around with him. You know, we had a whole adventure and stuff. You know, he's totally cool. He used the Force to make me fly. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems.
Yeah. It makes me think that somewhere in the galaxy, whether it's Alderaan or if Bail is somewhere else, he's under duress, or somehow he got something to Leia, like, "Hey, you're in the rebellion now, for sure. At this point, we really need help. Contact Ben Kenobi."
Yep.
Yeah. Pretty much. But why would she know the name Ben? I don't know. Did she say Ben? No, she doesn't know the name Ben.
Well,
in the movie, because she asked for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then he's like, Luke's like, "Well, I don't know any Obi-Wan. I do know of a Ben, though."
Yeah, and then when
New
Luke
Hope.
jumps in there to save her, she's laying down, horizontally on that in the cell block 1138 or whatever, and he pops in. And he goes, "I'm here with Ben Kenobi. I'm here to rescue you." So, like, that might be the first time I remember her hearing the name Ben.
Maybe. All I know is that he was like, "I don't know any Obi-Wan Kenobi. I do know a Ben Kenobi."
Yeah.
So,
of course I know him. He's me.
He's me.
But anyway, so what else happens now?
Now that gets exciting. So where I can't remember where we are. They go off and he gets in the water. He goes up through the thing, and that's where we left off, where he chokes the guy out. He chokes the stormtrooper out.
No, we're past that. We're with the Reva interrogation with Leia and the distraction. He was making his way through the place, and then he
uses
saves
the Force again. He throws like a sound across the room, which I thought was like,
yeah.
He's clearly doing a lot more with the Force at this point.
Yeah. CJ, I assume at that point, just saying the last name Kenobi, she's like, "Oh, well, obviously you mean Obi-Wan," I would assume. Otherwise, that's an inconsistency in A New Hope, where they do that.
Yeah, true.
That's what I would say. Especially having, let me change my name, but just the first part, though, not the last name. Still kind of weird. But, so Obi-Wan kills 2 stormtroopers, and then he gets Leia out, and then they go into a hallway, and they're getting shot at, and he's like, "Hide." And honestly, I'm like, that's a hallway. The fuck she's supposed to hide?
Yeah,
but,
where should he hide?
Then he's doing all right, deflecting and blocking and all that stuff. And Angus and I were like, "What the fuck?" Because like the lasers were like cracking the glass, and in my head I was like, "Why are they firing lasers down here?" But then it was more like, "Why isn't the glass strong enough to withstand their freaking blasters?"
Agreed.
They're down there, because that seems like why would they fire it if they know that the glass is that weak? Is my point. Like, if they know it's this weak, why would they fire it? Unless that was their plan, to fire it, fill up the room, lock him in, kill him.
Then why not just shoot the windows instead of shooting at him?
Yeah, and then seal the room, but I guess not.
They really don't think that far ahead. They just don't. And they're paid a lot of money to do just that. Very frustrating.
Yeah. Indeed.
But I will say this, the hallway scene was maybe one of the most exciting ones that's happened, because I got to see Kenobi, flinging a lightsaber around and blocking blaster bolts and killing stormtroopers. That was kind of cool. That's kind of what the 13-year-old inside of me is like, wanting to see. And then from there, he makes it out, obviously he floods it. The stormtroopers get all wrecked. And then they're going to run, I guess, to try and leave.
I guess I was also kind of like, how are the stormtroopers just instantly dead now? Like, there's like they show in Book of Boba Fett that apparently they have like air, like air tubes.
Holy shit! I didn't even think of that.
In their thing, and it's like,
yet you can drown them.
I was about to say, well, they drowned really quickly as well. Like, it wasn't just that they drowned; it was like they couldn't have been more than a minute in there. Like, you can't hold your breath for more than 30 seconds or 10 seconds. Like, they're just fucking, nope, we're dead. They're all dead, motionless.
Wow. Yeah, okay, that's another thing. Like Star Wars, Disney, they always, and this has been a thing in Star Wars, like, always having like terrain-based armor, little variants. That's another way to sell different toys and merch, because these different variants of stormtroopers or clone troopers. And it's like, why don't they have like an aqua trooper?
I would imagine there's not many reasons to, but
they're on a water planet.
Or if anything, they'd have droids do that or something. Like,
Imperial Navy
or like a different species that they have that can do that. Have they utilize the Gungans to do underwater missions for them or something.
Gungans honor.
The Gungan patrol gets to go and do stuff for the Gungan
we
squad.
Fight for Empire.
We do the underground stuff, and there's those other squid people and calamari. They could have the calamari, go underwater and swim for them. I don't know, instead of troopers. But you're right. That'd be, if they're talking about toy design. Yeah, it'd be.
It's so simple. It's so easy. Make an aqua trooper. Have them have like blue or aqua green armor or something, like
They had aqua troopers for the clones. Remember, they did a whole in the Clone Wars. They did a whole fight on 2 episodes back to back. They were
Kit Fisto, and they had the Mon Cal and the shark people, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, CJH. Yeah, you're not wrong. Ewoks can kill them with rocks, but this is just like another thing that's on top of that. It's like they can get killed with rocks, they can get knocked out with sticks, they can get drowned with water. It's like it's just another notch of how useless their armor is. And it's like you'd think they'd have some type of strong point, but it's like even with water, they can't. You survive in that for a few seconds. No, dead too. It's just like, so.
It's annoying because they're trying to tell us this is like the evil Nazi empire that's like crushing everyone, and then all I see is incompetence.
The evil Nazi empire that not only crushes everyone and is incompetent, but is also inclusive.
I feel like if you tickle them with a feather, they'll die immediately. It's like, that'll kill me.
Dr. Fragile, yeah.
It's just like, wow, okay, water, rocks, sticks, your armor is useless. Like, oh my god. So it's like not anything new. It's just another thing on top of.
That's fine.
It's just. If anything, it's consistent with how lame they are. It's just
see, like I think CJ thinks he's making a good, like, whoa, you didn't think this through, man. It's like no, I get it. Like the Empire is like Soviets versus the Republic was like they were quality, and they like took control through the Republic, and now they're like cutting costs, making cheaper shit. That's fine, like they just
and it's technically post-war now.
So. Yeah, it's like they just the Empire works by swarming, not by actual proficiency, and like that's okay, but it's like there should be like a level of, they can still hold their own. It's always, you see them and they're just always stupid. They can't hold up to any firepower of any kind.
It's like they don't even have hand-to-hand combat or
It's
anything.
like how are
There's
they
just nothing.
how are they maintaining power when they're this bad and they take this many casualties all the time on their own turf?
In the last episode, they got shot at, and they're like, "Oh, where'd that come from?" Even though it's a laser and you can see where it
Yeah.
came from. And they're like, "Oh, where'd that come from again?" I don't know. And it's like, just really, you guys? Yeah. It's just with these shows, you'd think that they'd be able to show at least a few scenes of like a stormtrooper or two being a little bit competent sometimes to make it at least a little something, but no.
Nope.
Yeah, like the trader from episode 7, where it's like, oh, like they can, they're not afraid. Like, oh, you got a lightsaber? Okay, whatever, dude. And then he gets like cheap shotted by Han, and it's like, okay. But you like add that, or you add the Death Troopers, but then it's like, oh, but they're all stupid and die, and it's like,
Yeah, they're literally no different than a fucking stormtrooper.
it's like,
As to where when we watched that Cad Bane fan film, that one trooper was able to actually put up a fight. Other than the other ones were all lame, and then this one could put up a fight. It's like, okay, that's something.
yeah, I just wish there's consistency where it's like, okay, by the time you get to episode 6, like, oh yeah, they suck, but come on.
Or if it's at least like, okay, if there's like 4 or less stormtroopers, they're easy pickings. But any more, and then it's like, oof, this is a lot more difficult now. Where we have a much higher chance of getting killed here.
Well, when you get to the very end of this episode, there's a fuck ton of stormtroopers, and they all are terrible shots.
I don't even remember half of them being in it because they're all around, but nothing really happens. So
Nothing.
so we're almost there. The episode's almost done now. So he gets Leia, and they do their little fight thing. They do the water bit, and then I don't remember if anything else happens in between. But they get to the hangar and about to leave. Are we at that part now? Does anything happen in between?
Well, there's the alarm goes off because while the woman was creating a distraction by talking to Reva, the alarm goes off because that floaty droid sees Kenobi and Leia. And that's, pretty much it. They hook back up. So right here, the alarm goes off, and then Reva is taken back with the other woman, Imperial lady. She's like, it's him. And so they leave. And then the two troopers are supposed to put, I can't remember her name, Talpa, in handcuffs and escort her. But then that's when Kenobi uses the radio and says, Talpa, or whatever her name is. And the stormtrooper's like, huh? And so she yanks on one's helmet, and he acts like he's been in a wrestling ring. He kind of shakes and falls around a little bit like a complete, utter idiot. And then she pushes the other one, pulls the gun, and then, shoots them both. Just really bad fight sequence. Just terrible, terrible, terrible fight sequence.
We just watched this less than an hour ago, and I don't even remember the sequence.
Yeah, no, that's the other thing is like this is like a in between, and you have CGI at your availability. You got this big budget production, and literally all Reva does is just pow, 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 deflect. There's no like show me her doing cool. They had her doing like kind of like bad
insane parkour for no reason.
She was doing stupid parkour where it's like when she's jumping, like they don't get the weight right, and so it's like she's floating, not like in the prequels, like some CGI is dated, but there's like a weight to like when they jump, and when they cut to like the actual actor like landing, when they make a jump up or down somewhere. And with her sequence, it's like it's not like, oh, I'm already expecting this character to be bad, so I'm rooting against her. It's like I'm taking it in, and the physics don't look right. They look cheap. They look like a fan film made them. And so it's like you would expect a fan film to not get it quite right because they don't have the ability. But this show has everything at their disposal. And so like you already, I wasn't even thinking about the first or second episode. You already seen her do like force user shit with her body, jumping around crazy. And then this one, it's like she could literally just jump up and like stab the pilot or jump and slice the ship down. And she's just going bang, 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 deflecting. It's like so uninspired, like make, at least give her cool shit to do. So it's like I can at least enjoy that part of her, but
Mhm.
like she's so monotone an actress in this role, at least.
Yeah.
There's no change in her emotion ever.
She's
Like
always just angry, and there's nothing in between.
Vader is almost exclusively just a voice acting role through James Earl Jones, and there's so much like there's menace, and then there's like cunning, and then there's humor to him. He's very sly, like James Bond with his like dad jokes. Like, be pleased if you join us for
But
And
he's
it's
not
like,
always angry. He's always like, "I hate you." He's not. He's not doing that kind of stuff anymore. He's chill. And whenever he's angry, even he might raise his voice a little bit, but he's not like shouting like Kylo Ren or something. He's just like, "Oh, I'm a little bit annoyed." You can tell a little bit how he's annoyed, but he's pretty much talking the same.
yeah, or like when he kills one of the Emirates, is like, apology accepted.
Yes, he's like, yes,
It's like,
apologies.
that's funny. And yeah, that's the thing, is like you get like just always like,
Well, it's like when he enters the room, people are sweating. They're like, "Oh, I hope I don't get killed today."
yeah, and the Asian guy, he's pretty good with like his hamming it up kind of evil portrayal. Her is just, it's flat.
Her acting is flat, and you're right about the physics too, Angus. They were really bad. Just like
No, it is James Earl Jones. Star Wars Twitter is like, yeah, James Earl Jones voicing Vader.
Well,
What are
he
you talking
does. Yeah, he does. But I think they did both.
I think they used. He might have recorded lines, but then they also used something to like change the voice a bit. I don't know.
Okay. See, he's
Because
asking
he sounds like an old man, and when he voices Lion King stuff. So in this, they like are doing something to change his
Oh yeah,
voice
they're
a
definitely
little.
tweaking it, but he's asking about Nur, the moon that we're on, this water base. So this is what annoys me, is like a total ignorance to science. This is, like Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about, where it's like, when I crap on sci-fi movies for their plots, it's not that this stuff isn't cool. It's like, I know science, and it's like you could do so much cooler shit than what you did with like real science. And for one, if you got Mustafar as like a incessantly active volcanic planet, how does a water moon spin off of that? In the wreckage of like a Big Bang, and this planet
Well,
formed.
in realistic, physics, it'd have to be one or the other would be a much larger planet, and I'm guessing the water world would be a much larger planet, so it wouldn't be a moon that has water because gravity. Like
Yeah, it's just,
gravity, you know what I mean, would have to pull. It would be an immense amount of gravity to bring a liquid or a gas to it. So it already had to have been a very large entity to pull all the gases in, and then they would become liquid.
yeah.
So with the Mustafar itself, that would really be more likely the moon that was left over that didn't get any of the water because it cooked it off, and it was, just maybe even formed a little later. That's why it's so volcanic.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I see
Well, hold on, CJH. No, Venus and Earth are two different planets. We're talking about moon and planet, because that wasn't another planet. That was a moon in the orbit of Mustafar.
Right, a moon versus a planet.
The big distance difference and orbit difference and everything. Like
Yeah,
if our moon, if we were a lava planet and then that water moon was our moon, that's kind of weird.
That
yeah,
would
it
be
does, because the moon is like from the same debris, and like when the stuff starts making its orbit around,
the moon
like
is formed from the
central
planet.
mass. It doesn't make sense that like that would be essentially a product from that planet,
Yeah.
And there's something else with that just it annoys me, because it's like,
cooled.
I mean, it's cool to have different terrain, but like you purposely make this a moon to the volcano planet, and it's like just base level science. I'm like, come on.
CJ, we're not talking about it's like realism, as in would something survive or not, would this be accurate or not. We're talking about like making a creative planet. We're talking about making creative terrain, making creative atmosphere. You can make cooler atmosphere through looking at stuff in real life rather than just let's make a water thing, let's make a lava thing, let's make a desert thing. It's like, yeah, there's different ways you can make it more interesting, but they keep on just going with bland take of you have Water Planet now.
Yeah,
Again,
I feel like there are people in their storyboard or whatever story group, and they're like, you know what would be really cool for this? And then they just write it down on a chalkboard. Like, it makes no sense.
And yeah, it does have water and ice, and yes, it's got a huge variety. Yes,
but they're frozen. They're not liquid water.
But regardless, it's just like that actually goes with our point here. It's like those would be interesting terrains. Those are still different terrains. Like I've seen whatever images of them. They're not just water, or they're not just simply ice. There's different texture to them. There's different stuff that makes them visually interesting
and logical.
I know nobody's going to CJ. Our point here isn't about would somebody live on it in real life or how realistic. We're talking about looking at real life things that we've learned in real life to make the sci-fi environment more interesting. That's our point, just to make it more interesting, because they keep on doing their made-up ones that aren't very interesting. That's all. But so yeah, there's really not much else to this episode, right? Like
well, there's the big ending, and CJ said something earlier about them being snow speeders, which, although very cool to see, didn't really make sense. Literally, the name of it is a T-47 snow speeder, like, but there's no snow, so that was kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
They mentioned they were using it for sewage transport or something, so it's like, okay. I didn't even know that speeders had a. I mean, it makes sense that they actually do, but I've never heard them called a T-47.
Yeah.
So I had no idea. When they said T blank, I was thinking of like the T. Was it 16? Whatever that like toy that Luke has.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But it was strange. I mean, for me, like, I liked it. I thought it was great and very cool. They seem to be the perfect, ship to kind of slip in there and do that. They can float. I didn't know they could just float in the air like that, though. So that was kind of new for me.
That looked very jarring. Was just we're gonna float here and fire at you.
Yeah,
they could do that. You would think they would have been better at taking down those walkers.
Well, I thought it would have been. She's deflecting them like they're normal blasters, and I'm like, wouldn't these be more powerful?
Much more powerful.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying you can't deflect them. Like they show Kit Fisto very briefly in the in the Jedi battle. Like one of the bigger tank things is like firing a thing at him, and he blocks it twice. But it's like he has to do a heavy swing to block it, and it you'd see it hits the ground, and it's like boosh, behind him, and it's like he has to put a lot more effort into blocking it than a normal little blaster block.
Yeah, it makes sense too. It'd be like using a rapier to stop a cannonball coming at you.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, if you could literally use a sword to stop bullets, okay, you'd have to be like some super person, right? But if you use that same sword to stop a cannon, like that'd be pretty crazy. I think that's your point.
Yeah. Well, if they wiped out a bunch of species on different planets with a bunch of deserts, that's just odd. But all right, that could be their explanation. But possibly.
Yeah, a lot of desert planets lately.
Yeah, he said that's because they went around destroying species with them, which.
Well, I mean, Tatooine, at least from what I've read on Wikipedia, Tatooine had it was fertile, and it just
had an ocean.
Yeah, it had an ocean, and it just got decimated or something. Like there's a history before the Empire was ever around that it was wrecked, or that just nature changed it.
Yeah. Oh, Vase, you're right, man. I forgot about that they modified the snow speeders. You're right.
Yep. That makes sense. CJ says apparently they have bullets in Star Wars in their new canon comics. Why does no one use actual guns? Well, apparently lightsabers can't deflect actual bullets. I don't know.
Well, that wouldn't make sense though, because they can melt through doors. So if you're shooting metal bullets,
I feel like that'd be easier to block because I don't think you could deflect them, but you could just melt them as soon as he touches the lightsaber. I would think. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I see this Disney shit, fucking Miss Marvel, watching this Kenobi crap. I like Mando. I like the 2 Mando episodes of Boba Fett.
Boba Fett, right?
I like all 6 episodes of Boba Fett before the finale, to varying degrees. And this is just like no. You say one about Boba Fett, and it definitely nosedived last episode critically, and everyone just watching it. The stupid spin, all that, it was just awful. But it was trying to entertain us and do something new and unexplored. In some ways, it had energy to it. And this with like Vader's in it, Obi-Wan Kenobi's in it, Sith Inquisitors are in it. They even got Kid Leia, and like all I am is just, wow, this sucks. This is criminal. This is criminal. Like, you have all of this at your disposal. Plus, you can make new shit with Filoni and Favreau and stuff, and tool it in and tie it to Mandalorian and Ahsoka. And there's like nothing. There's nothing. I'm like, man, you really got to watch this show. It's like, yeah, I'm watching it because it's like current culture right now stuff, and it's tied to a franchise I like. But it's just, if you had told me the best thing Star Wars did was make with Disney was make a show, a TV show about a baby Yoda and his surrogate bounty hunter, not Boba Fett father, I'd be like, what? That was the best thing they made in a decade?
Unfortunately. Yes. You would never believe it, would you?
No, and and Jedi Fallen Order is pretty good. I haven't finished it, but it's a good game.
It's a good game.
But yeah, like that's about it. You know, not even like there's the only cool ship from New Star Wars is Kylo Ren's Episode 8 ship, the Silencer, and they fucking, for whatever reason, made it a more Darth Vader ship in Rise of Skywalker, and just made it a new ugly TIE fighter instead of doing new shit. Like, it's so disappointing.
It really is. You know, the difference is the good stuff that they've put out, which is, you know, few and far between, but the good stuff has had people tied to them, those projects that were passionate about Star Wars, sincerely passionate. Dave Filoni, homeboy, I can't remember his name, you know, Iron Man guy.
Favreau,
right. And then as far as Rogue One, it was one of the creators, the guy who came up with the whole idea was with ILM for decades with that idea to create Rogue One. So that was an idea that had come out, even been pitched to George Lucas many years prior. So those, for me, Rogue One and Mandalorian, and that kind of wraps it up for me. Like, nothing else is really, you know,
I forget about Rogue One. I mean, I like some of it.
Yeah.
But
I feel like Rogue One's worse than people remember. I think that the final act was like more punchy, action packed, but that doesn't mean it was good.
No, yeah, the ending sequence is like a good blockbuster popcorn Star Wars, you know, get your action, have some fun, see stuff blow up. But then that movie was hamstrung with like kind of like Solo, not as bad, but you know, they meddled with what the director made, and you see it in the trailer. It's like you show this trailer, and then you have someone watching like, wait, why didn't this happen? Why did they show me that? So
no, it had problems. In fact, everything with Disney's name on it has had problems,
Well,
including
yeah,
Mandalorian. But those are the ones that stick in my mind that had someone who was passionate about the franchise in them. I don't think, when you find out later that after something like Kenobi comes out, that the director didn't have answers to some serious questions before he was making the project, that's a problem.
yeah.
Yep. What else are they making after this show? I don't know anymore.
There's Ahsoka. There's Acolyte. I still am interested to see Acolyte, but this makes it worse anticipation because it's like, oh, I want to see Darkseid, and then it's like this has been the Reva show, and she sucks, and she's an equipment.
Right now, they suck at Darkseid.
And I hear they're going to do a second season of this show.
Oh, fuck me. God,
How
I
would
gotta
that
watch
be
more of this crap.
How would that be possible?
I know, but
No, it's not possible. Why? Why are you doing this to me? At least make me watch new crap, not more of crap I know's crap.
Well, it's just annoying, you know. It's just annoying with the idea of like, well, things are supposed to make sense with the movie that comes after, but they just keep on doing things that don't, and then it's just like, so like, what is the stakes? What do I care about with this? Like they don't have to, put our main characters that we know are going to survive in peril to have stakes. You can do other things that can make it interesting, but they don't know how to do any of that. So it's just waiting around. Like these 4 episodes can be summed up with this chick, tries to lure Obi-Wan out, captures Leia, draws him out, and tries to get her back, and then she gets captured again. He fights Vader real quick and gets her back, and here we are again. Like that's pretty much what has happened so far.
It's like an uninteresting Indiana Jones, where it's like, all the shenanigans with like the artifacts. Like the Nazis always get the artifacts and then they die.
Yeah.
So he didn't really even need to be there, but it was fun watching him do it, and you see him grow in some ways.
Yeah, it wasn't really about the plot. It was about the character interacting with the plot with that one.
Yeah, and this is like, oh, we're back to where we started, and I didn't get anything out of this.
I don't feel like Kenobi's grown at all. If they're trying to imply that he needs to change as a character.
Oh, but he broke that
here.
glass, so he's right. He's ready to train.
Nothing has happened where he's like, nothing has happened where he's like gained a new perspective or gained any new wisdom or like learned anything new or just like anything. He's just around still. See, Angus and I before talking like a while ago, like it would have been interesting if he was like doing underground fucking fist fights and battles to make money or something, and he's got a, like if he's like, making sure people don't know about Luke at all. If somebody's getting kind of close or fucking around, he can take care of him. What if Tuskens were gonna like, attack Luke's home and Obi-Wan's got to fucking kill some Tuskens or something?
Yeah, that would have been dope.
And it's like,
murder them, bastard.
I don't know. Maybe he ends up being friends with them, but I don't know. However they want to end that conflict, that'd be interesting to see. Maybe how he interacts with Tuskens and describes them. Oh yeah, they'll return in larger numbers. Like I got attacked by 3.
This could have been the whole show. Is just him living in the wilderness, learning how to survive, and like because it's like he knew how to make the crate dragons scream or whatever to scare the raiders. It's like, how did he learn that?
Exactly. What if he, fucking?
That's its own show right there. Is fucking, dances with wolves Kenobi.
Well, and he's like, this is especially on this dangerous planet. This also makes no sense to why he loses his skill because he's on like the most dangerous fucking planet as far as like people, like scum, and you never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. So you're gonna just relax, like. I don't know. He seems like he's ready. In A New Hope, he seems like he's ready to fucking get in a brawl if anybody, messes with him. Imagine if he had like, some battles here. Some of these people interactions. It's like, yeah, I know. I fucking dealt with these losers. Like something. But anyway, I guess. I
still haven't seen Qui-Gon. Still haven't seen any Anakin flashback shit that we were promised. This show sucks.
Yep. Oh yeah, CJH. Yeah, he said we should be promoting independent creators and making new content. I agree. That's why I've been watching a bunch of fan films. And another one is premiering in about 2 hours. And I watched. It was like Star Wars Vengeance or Resurgence. I forget what it's called. It was actually really shitty, but it was funny as hell. Like with how it was. But
I'm glad to see those words, CJH. That's awesome to read that you're saying that. That's awesome.
No, I agree, but I found this new channel that is like so political, and they just streamed that the focus was reviewing Top Gun Maverick, and I appreciate their points, but they even address like, yeah, this is like Force Awakens, and that's my big problem with the movie. It's like this is kind of pointless. It's just a soft reboot, even though there is some like progression for the character, and there's some like I guess meta stuff you could perceive from it. It's just franchise, and it feels hollow. And so that's why I get irritated when everyone's shilling for it, because it's like, well, it's not woke, so it must be good. It's like, no, that those two are not like
Mutually
mutual.
exclusive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't. Just because it's not woke doesn't mean it's good. Just because it's woke or has woke elements doesn't mean it's bad. I can't think off the top of my head, but I've seen some stuff where it's like, oh, Django Unchained. Django Unchained is woke as fuck, but it's so good because it's not preaching to me. It's a perspective movie. So it's like you're seeing this kind of modern view looking back at slavery through a slave's eyes. And so it's like, and it's also sort of comedic 'cause it's deconstructing like Westerns. There's a lot of elements, but there's this like very like BLM kind of message to it, but it's not propaganda. It's perspective. So there's a difference between trying to convince me to join you versus showing me how you look at the world, and that's why Django's good despite being woke. But yeah, I don't know. It's these guys are talking about like, yeah, I understand this like boycott idea, but he was saying his friend was trying to boycott Procter Gamble because of Gillette and the tranny stuff with their advertising. But he like researched like, yeah, they're so invested in all these different avenues of life that unless you made your own shit, you can't avoid giving Procter and Gamble money. And that's how it is with Disney and Coca-Cola and all these like companies that do woke shit. It's like, well, they're also got money China, they got money in Russia. So like you're talking about a global economy, and you can't and you can't bury your head in the sand and just avoid stuff, because it hurts them worse when you like watch it and laugh at it, and then, oh look, this channel got big because they crapped on this popular product.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
no,
CJ,
the Nazis have a voice. Stop it.
CJ says Planet of the Apes trilogy was woke, but doesn't bang you in the head with its wokeness. Was
Yeah.
it woke? I don't remember.
I guess I maybe when you say that, you mean like banging you in the head with like race situations.
Oh right, yeah, I guess there's some race.
I never
correlations.
watched the new trilogy of Planet of the Apes and got any political messaging.
I don't,
mean, maybe
I don't
it's
remember
there.
there being that.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's there, but like it felt very much just like the sci-fi element of like let's do a realer take about how the Planet of the Apes could come about.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I never saw. I mean, maybe there's like some sort of like military criticism in like the third one. I don't know, but it's so deep and subtle.
We got to watch those again, Angus, because it's
Yeah.
been a while. It's been a while since I've seen those.
I just watched the third one again a while because it's like I just felt in the mood like that. Like
I only
that
saw them
Western
when
stuff.
they're in theaters.
But yeah, no, that's the Batman director for the Dawn and.
When you say the Batman director, that does not help me at all.
The Batman, the Batman,
the
director.
latest Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was saying the Batman.
You say the Twilight Batman because that's easier to remember.
Yeah, Matt Reeves. He did Dawn and War. But yeah, no, I expect he's from LA. I expect him to be woke, but the only thing I've seen knowingly in his movies with any like obvious from like, oh god, modern politics was the Catwoman line about white privilege, but that also made sense because she's like
from her perspective. From her perspective, that made sense for her to say it. But yeah, with our line, it's like it's a real eye rolling moment for us, but also like a speckle of in a overall pretty decent movie.
Yeah, there's there's some like. Yeah, I'll have to look through again. Yeah, there's multiple movies I've watched from like, it's woke, but I mean, it's really good, so I don't care.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen quite a few.
X-Men, the X-Men trilogy. I mean, if you look at it today, it's like so obviously about like gay marriage, You know, mutants are
Yeah.
clearly like the stand-in in that era for like gay rights and stuff. And it's very in your face, kind of, but it's such a good movie because the X-Men are fucking cool. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure I've seen plenty of movies that are like, you know, women power, but there's been quite a few where like they do that well, where it's not like demeaning the guys, but it's also like they're able to do that kind of message without it being totally freaking nonsensical. Quite a few, but those are more from, you know, pre-2010 usually.
The boys with their like YouTube white supremacy wormhole narrative in season 2 with
Yeah.
Stormfront, but it's like you're trying to say this, but it kind of falls in its face like when they're like, oh yeah, I agree with these points, and then it's like, oh no, the person said it's a Nazi. It's
Right.
like, but she wasn't wrong. And it was still entertaining, so it's like I don't care. Like the people who make the boys, like everyone behind the camera, they're all just scum, but they somehow restrain themselves making the product, and so I'm totally
Surprised they
fine
killed
with
a gay guy in the first episode of season
Yeah,
3.
they kill a gay. I mean, I think that was probably purposeful, and this came out during Pride Month. I think that's probably purposeful. It's like, oh, let's like, you know, hey, gay representation. Look, we killed a gay. You know.
And shook the other one up in a cocaine bag. It was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, I think that's about it for this one. I'm getting, my throat's getting all sore talking a little bit. And still sick. If you guys cannot tell, I'm not putting on a voice. So that's just
I'm fine, except you know, I know it feels rough. That's
Oh,
Yep.
I bet you know it feels
So,
rough.
any last things you want to say about Kenobi episode 4?
Make it
It's almost
stop.
done.
Make it stop, please.
Yeah, I wish, you know, Ewan McGregor, I know he likes the stuff, but I feel like he never really, like, from what I could tell, he didn't seem like he was super duper into Star Wars, but it was like, oh, he likes playing the character, you know. It's fun. I wish that this was better for his sake, but other than that, no, just, you know, I don't want to be one of the ones either that's like, oh, this is Disney and it's lame, it's blah, 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 but it's like, it is. The parts that are fine are like visuals. Again, it looks nice, like, it doesn't look cheap, but it's still just flat.
Yeah, I never would expect. It should tell you a lot when you're watching a show about a big main character, the Force user from the series, and the only thing you're like coming away with, like, man, this has been consistently, I really like this, is, oh yeah, the little girl in the show as Leia, and I hate Leia. I despise her in the original trilogy. Besides, you know, Slave Leia, because boobies, but that's like the only use for her, for my taste. And they made me like her as a kid in this show, and that's like the only thing I'm like, man, I enjoy these scenes, but otherwise, like, just make it stop.
Well, so even with her, they make her so inconsistent. Like, she's a smart kid, but she's also really dumb. You know, I'm getting annoyed with how they try to treat it.
Oh yeah, sure, but
yeah, that's all. That's all I got.
Same. Been nice to talk about it and get some of it out of my head. It's like a free psychiatry visit, but
yeah. Well, if anything else, I mean, Cobra Kai comes out in a few months.
Oh, and House of the Dragon, fucking the Targaryen show for Game of Thrones. I can't wait for that. Oh man, I'm so excited. Yeah, and the boys is still going. So that's the great thing. Yeah, like the great thing about Kenobi is that 2 days later, Boys drops its episode. So it's like, wash all that out of your brain and watch good stuff.
I like the thought behind it.
Yeah, so if anything, that's like, all right, let me get through this. It's Wednesday because Friday is time for the boys.
Hell yeah, I love that show.
Oh yeah, but thank you guys for hanging out and chilling. CJH and It's a Vase, thanks for dropping by. Everybody else that came by, thank you. we'd stick around a little longer, but I gotta take a little rest with this. What's up, Phil? Thanks for dropping by as well. And yeah, he probably just came in. Karen, hello. Yes, yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Later.